وزير الدفاع في إستونيا هانو بيفكور، أهلا بك في لإرم نيوز. لنبدأ معليك من القمة التي حصلت في واشنطن مؤخرا، قمة حلف الناتو. هناك قرارات مهمة اتخذت في هذه القمة. برأيك كيف يمكن لهذه القرارات، لا سيما لناحية تسليح أوكرانيا وتزويدها بطائرات F-16، كيف يمكن لهذا كله أن يغير قواعد اللعبة اليوم؟
Well, of course, it is important to continue helping Ukraine as much as we can. It's not only as long as it takes, but it is important to understand and to underline that every help which helps Ukrainians to fight for their own land and for their own people, it is very important. And of course, in that sense, all the high-end products like the fighter jets or long-range missiles are extremely needed by Ukrainians. So definitely, no of them alone is not a game changer. We have to understand that it is important to see all the equipment and then all the rifles or whatever equipment we are sending, fighter jets, as a measure, a complex of measures. So this is why, of course, F-16s, for instance, is not a game changer alone, but they will contribute significantly to that Ukrainians can take back the land.
سيد بيفكور، يعني الرئيس الأوكراني أعلن مؤخرا أن أوكرانيا بدأت محادثات العضوية إلى الاتحاد الأوروبي. ميدفيديف من جهته مؤخرا أيضا قال إن انضمام أوكرانيا إلى الناتو أو الاتحاد الأوروبي هو إعلان حرب على روسيا. كيف تعلقون على ذلك؟
Russia cannot choose the destiny and the path of independent countries. So sovereign countries can make their own decisions. And that means also that if Ukraine decides and has decided to move towards the West, then this is their right to do that and to do so. So, we clearly see that Russia wants to establish still different gray zones between Russia and the West. So this is why, of course, we are not approving any of these messages, and we clearly understand and see that this is actually even against the international law, because the international law and the UN Charter clearly says that every country is free to decide their own destiny.
الجملة الشهيرة التي ترددها دائما: لا يمكن لك أن تغير جيرانك. برأيك هل هناك اليوم حاجة إلى التفكير بالسلام في منطقة شرق أوروبا، أم أن الحال سيبقى على ما هو عليه لناحية استمرار الحرب مع روسيا؟
Let's be clear here. NATO has never been a threat to Russia and will not be. So this is not the aim of NATO. The aim of NATO is to protect and to defend our alliance and our countries and our people. And we will not be a threat for Russia. So every message what Medvedev or Putin or whoever sends out from Russia that NATO is a threat is not true, and it's just their propaganda. So this is why our message and our position can only be that when we want to live in peace, we have to be together in the security alliance and defense alliance called NATO. And we have to deter Russia and then send a very clear message that don't even think about attacking NATO or attacking Estonia or any other country, because attack on us means attack on NATO. So, and then of course NATO will defend itself and its territories from the first meter on. So this is a very clear message, but I have not heard like any time in the history and also presently that somebody is thinking of attacking Russia.
نعم سيد بيفكور، برأيك متى من الممكن أن ينطلق حوار يؤسس ربما لسلام محتمل بين روسيا وأوكرانيا؟ وما هي شروط أيضا هذا السلام المحتمل؟
Well, first and foremost, it's the question for the Kremlin and for the Russian governors. So when Russia is ready to accept the international law, when Russia is ready to accept the borders of its neighbors as they were established in 1991, then of course peace can be established. But the precondition for that is that Russia will not pose any threat, and then Russia is accepting the international law and the territories.
سيد بيفكور، كنت تحدثت مؤخرا أن روسيا تقوم بتنفيذ هجمات هجينة على دول الناتو لإلهائها عن سبل دعمها لأوكرانيا. هل يمكن لك أن تعطينا بعض التفاصيل عن هذه الهجمات وأنواعها؟
Yes, the reality is that Russia is conducting different type of attacks all the time. These are hybrid attacks, cyber attacks. Cyber attacks are on daily basis. When we talk about the hybrid attacks, then we have seen throughout the Europe different attacks on UK soil, on people. We have seen in Lithuania the attack on Navalny's people, especially on Mr. Volkov. We've seen the attack here in Estonia, where 10 people have been arrested, and they've attacked the car of Minister of Interior, also one journalist. So we've seen attacks in Poland. We have some criminal investigations ongoing still regarding some other activities all around Europe. So this is unfortunately the reality, and this is once again the proof that Russia is not accepting the international law.
نعم، وأنتم كدولة إستونيا، ما هي الخطوات التي تقومون بها من أجل عدم الوقوع أو تجنب الوقوع في الفخ الذي تحدثت عنه؟
First, we have to be honest and open about these attacks, and then show clearly that when we have the evidences that who is behind that. And I truly hope that also this case here in Estonia will end up in the court, and the court will have a decision here when all the evidences are collected. Secondly, of course, our authorities have to be very well prepared for these kind of attacks, and we are well prepared, and also we have to make a very good cooperation with our allies here, and all the internal services of different countries have to cooperate very, very deeply. So and of course, when we can deter and then we can prevent that kind of attacks, this also helps. So this is the only way to deal with that kind of threat and with that kind of attacks, that we need to be open. We have to bring them to justice, and we have to show to the world that who is behind that.
سيد بيفكور، يعني إستونيا اليوم هي دولة حدودية تقع على حدود أو على تماس مباشر مع الدولة الروسية، وكنتم قد بدأتم بخطة دفاعية أنتم ولاتفيا وليتوانيا. ما هي تفاصيل هذه الخطة الدفاعية وما مدى فعالية هذه الخطة برأيك؟
I've said that also previously, that this is one part of our actions, what we are doing during the peacetime. So we are, of course, beefing up our army. So we are buying new weapon systems, we are buying new air defense means, we are buying the maritime control measures, so the sea mines, for instance. And the Baltic defense line is just one part of that, what we are doing, what we can do during the peacetime. So this is just a coordinated action plan together with Latvia and Lithuania, now also with Poland. And this is what we have to do anyway, also and what we have to have if there is a military conflict. So of course, to avoid the military conflict and to send again also the deterrence measures, this is why we are preparing for that, and this is why we are doing that during the peacetime.
سيد بيفكور، كيف تعلقون اليوم على التدريبات العسكرية المشتركة بين الصين وروسيا في المحيط الهادئ؟ هل تعتبر ذلك ردًا على قمة الناتو وما تقرر في قمة الناتو في واشنطن مؤخرًا؟
Well, we know that, and it's a public information, that China is helping Russia a lot. Of course, when you read also the final declaration of the NATO summit in Washington, then there is a very clear message also to China, but not only to China, but also to North Korea. So this is important that we address these issues and we send a very clear message also to these countries who are helping Russia at the moment with the war in Ukraine, because we all understand that the war in Ukraine is not some kind of military special operation, but it's a clear war what Russia is conducting against Ukraine, and it's a war of aggression. So this is why we have to be very clear, all the allies of Ukraine and all the allies who value these freedoms, what Ukraine is fighting for at the moment.
السؤال الأخير اليوم برأيك، هل يمكن أن تتوسع الحرب أكثر في أوكرانيا وبالتالي تمتد إلى مناطق أخرى في شرق أوروبا، أم أن عودة ترامب المحتملة إلى الرئاسة سوف تغير أو تقلب المشهد أو المعادلة؟
Normally I do not like to speculate. I know that it is important for us to keep the focus at the moment in Ukraine, although we have also war going on in Gaza. Israeli-Gaza conflict is definitely one which is disturbing us, and many are trying to keep the focus on the other conflicts. Is it smaller or bigger? But still, when we take the number of casualties, when we take the number of people who are tortured or deported to Russia or just killed, so then we see that there is no conflict, no war at the moment bigger than the war in Ukraine.
نعم، وزير الدفاع في إستونيا هانو بيفكور، شكرا جزيلا لك على هذا اللقاء.